Come along, children. Now we're going to have a little music.
What is up, guys? First Cut Crew here. We just came out of watching Dune. That's right, we watched it together in a movie theater because we're nerds and we're movie nerds and we trust Denis. So we wanted to see it in a movie theater, but we just came out of the movie theater. I'm here with Sabrina and RB3. I want to get you guys' thoughts on it because I have my thoughts, but obviously I have no idea what you guys thought of this movie. I'm gonna start with you, RB3. I'm gonna start with you.
Oh, so I mean, all right,
I saw next to you.
Yeah, no, we sat next to each other. I mean, I thought it was good. I thought it was interesting. You know what I mean? I thought it was really. Thought Villeneuve was really doing something. I'll be real with y'all. Like, I gotta really like go back and revisit this movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot going on, and also just like, you know, it's just heavy. I mean, like, I feel like there's like so much mythology, and I'm trying to like pick apart what's going on at the same time. Like, you know, I'm also like kind of tired. You know what I mean? Certain circumstances in long run time.
You know,
30 minutes of trailers.
Waking up in the morning, going through traffic. You know, all that factors in.
So I gotta go back and keep it on HBO Max maybe a couple times before. But we'll see it in theaters.
Watching it on the big screen, some right?
See it in theaters. 100%. Yeah, there's a lot to soak in like visually too. So I recommend it. But also, I don't know, this is just initial thoughts, so I don't know, I might hate it a week. Sabrina, what you think?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. This is my second movie that I've watched today, so I've been sitting down in a movie theater for about like 5.5 hours at this point today. But I really enjoyed it. I liked a lot of Denis' work, and I feel like this is a good mixture of his style, but also resonating with like a general audience. I feel like some people can really find something to love in this movie, and I think with the demographics of like the Timothée Chalamet fans, the Zendaya fans, all the way to the Oscar Isaac fans, somebody could find something in this to love. I feel like we just got to meet the characters. I feel like we didn't get enough. That's like the only thing that kind of turned me off a little bit, is that with this film, which we know because this is highly publicized already, how they're already planning a sequel. They're kind of banking on the fact that there is going to be a sequel. And I feel like that might be a detriment to the overall film, because at this point we only feel like we got like a chunk of the story and not necessarily all of it, but I did really enjoy the chunk that we got.
Yeah, I mean, the film opens up saying part 1, so they're kind of implying, you weren't there when they said that, but they literally say Dune part 1. And I was like, oh, you're implying that there's going to be a part 2. I gotta be real, y'all. I have no idea. I tweeted out earlier, like in the week, that I have no idea what Dune is about. I have never read a single page. I have no clue, literally no clue what it's about. So this was my introduction to Dune. I loved it. I straight up loved it. Like,
nice.
loved it. I'm obsessed with sci-fi. I'm obsessed with like the idea of like imperialism and like the idea of, it's very similar to Star Wars, like taking over planets, taking over the resources of the planets, a lot of stuff that we see in different sci-fi stories. So I really enjoyed that, but I'm with you on the whole idea of, it feels like there's just so much there that you're just like, oh my god, this, you could tell this is like either the biggest book ever or like a lot of books, but that's probably my only criticism.
I believe that this is only kind of taking on like half of the first one. Only half of the first one.
That's crazy.
That's insane. So there is so much
material.
Story to be told. I really love the world building though. I think they did a really great job of that, trying to get into all of these characters. Again, with our main characters, a huge standout, which like shockingly, Jason Momoa, I thought was absolutely incredible. And with an ensemble like this, I didn't know that he would be the standout, and he kind of was for me. Timothée Chalamet, I'm still getting into the groove of him being this like action sci-fi leading man. I feel like he looks like a Victorian teenager, so it's almost like kind of like out of place. Yes. Yeah, how do you feel about that?
Where he's like the God King, the Messiah, he's gonna beat up everyone and take down armies, and I'm like, he's kind of like a little scrawny kid. He looks like he's 15, but okay.
And I guess like they kind of address that throughout the entire thing. They say like he's not like really fit. He doesn't look like this. Yeah. So I feel like possibly in the sequel, if this does well in theaters, which we already know it did, over like 100 million worldwide so far. So I mean, it's making some money, and I really hope it does well domestically, and then we could get that next step in the story.
I think definitely the standouts, visuals is incredible. I love the aesthetic and the vibe of it. It just feels so different and so unique. Obviously, that's very much Frank Herbert's doing, at least from what I heard from the original creation. So that's probably my favorite part of it all. but I really do feel like there's going to be a lot of people that are just not into it because of the source material and there's so much in there. But overall, RB3, I mean, is this something that you think is going to do well overall with majority audiences, general movie going audiences?
Yeah, I mean, well, I don't know about general movie audiences because we know how some people be. But I think there's going to be. I think it's going to do well among sci-fi fans. I think, it could have. I think amongst critics, I think it's a very well-made movie. Like, that's also my thing too. I think it's a very well-made. It adapts whatever source material. I haven't read the books. I've seen the original. I've seen the '80s movie. Yeah. I saw the documentary. Great documentary out there called Jodorowsky's Dune. It's about the making of a movie that never existed in the 1960s about the original Dune source material. So it's great stuff. A lot of inspiration came from the original Dune book. So you can see that in this movie a little bit. But also I appreciate that I think we talked about it before. We talked about it with Denis' last movie, Blade Runner 2049. I felt like the Blade Runner 2049 movie came so far after the first Blade Runner that pretty much all the themes that we saw in there has been exhausted through the past 30 years of sci-fi. At least with this, we know this inspired Star Wars, Alien, all this stuff. At least it didn't feel like any of that. It felt very tactile. It felt very militaristic. It felt very humanistic, and I felt like that's interesting too. We don't see a lot of sci-fi properties where it's everybody's just humans. It's and I think that's just really cool too. It's not aliens and a bunch of these are just all different seem like different variations of humans doing different variations of different things. So I appreciate that as well. I think all the pieces are there. I just don't know if it necessarily clicked for me necessarily yet. And maybe again, I just gotta watch it a couple, 2 or 3 more times. I do know after I saw Arrival, I was over the moon. So but I know after I saw Blade Runner 2049, I didn't love it. So at least with this one, I'm in the middle. But I'm more towards the side of leaning towards loving it for sure. But I gotta revisit for sure.
I agree, 100%.
I mean, if I have closing thoughts, I love it because I just feel like it is so weird and so outside the box, and the idea of bro, if you told me to pitch this movie to explain it to you, I'd just be yo, there's this witch family and this planet, and they take over this other military planet. The way I can describe it just makes it feel just so different and exciting to me. And the idea of the chosen one coming from 2 big families, it's a mix of a Game of Thrones meets a Star Wars kind of thing. You guys have never seen Game of Thrones, but it's houses and kings and same thing. It's literally the same thing as this. So I think maybe that's part of why I like it too, because I'm such a big George R.R. Martin fan and Game of Thrones fan. But yeah, for me guys, I highly recommend it. You guys say watch it on HBO Max or watch it in theaters?
I watch it in theaters.
Watch it in IMAX. We didn't see it in IMAX, but if you do get to see it in IMAX, watch it in IMAX for sure.
Those are our thoughts, guys. Let us know what you guys thought in the comments down below. We're going to be doing more conversations about this. We also will be doing a spoiler review about this. But we're closing out now with Sabrina.
You guys can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at SabrinaXMonica, also on Twitter at SabrinaOnTheFilm.
Or you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DirectorRB3.
You got me a Squad Race, guys. Follow us at First Cut TMO. You can also subscribe to us at First Cut, so make sure you guys go ahead and do that. Either way, guys, for the First Cut crew, we're peacing out. Peace.
For you, only one can remain. It's either me or you. Only one can remain. It's either me or you. Take you out the equation. It's either me or you. You do the math.